With Season 2 of Apothecary Diaries right around the corner, I can't wait to be back watching Maomao and Jinshi get up to all sorts of interesting cases. So before we get to that, let's clear up some potential mysteries that fans all around may be having with our favorite palace duo. Fact number 1. Maomao is a cat. Well, I always knew there was something about my favorite little green gremlin. That being said though, she isn't actually some fantasy cat shapeshifter. The name Maomao just happens to refer to cat in Chinese. Even her nickname Xiaomao is actually a play in calling her small cat.
Maomao-sama.
継承はいりません。ガオシュン様の方が位はずっと上です。
では、シャオも。
シャオっていきなりちゃん付けですか?
Which is understandable as our precious little girl is quite small and frail looking. Don't be fooled though, this cat has plenty of claws and she has the stubborn will to back it up.
そのうち全身に毒が回るだろう。よかったな。これでお前も綺麗になれるぞ。お主体するリファ様と同じだ。血の気の失せた肌と落ちくぼんだ眼下と食事も取れないような体。なんでこれが禁止されたか分かってんのか?
Fact number 2. Jinshi hasn't called Maomao by her name. Speaking of names, in the anime, Jinshi is yet to actually call Maomao by name. Instead, he often just calls her by what she's known for the most, and that is, of course, Apothecary.
薬屋頼んだぞ薬屋。ああ、薬屋か。
Now, Maomao isn't the type to really care, and Jinshi has always shown compassion and empathy for her in other ways. That being said though, the day he does call her by name may be fast approaching, possibly even the moment we can all look forward to in the upcoming season.
何もジンシ様まで中に入らなくても。
薬屋が入るなら俺も行く。
わかりました。
Fact number 3. Jinshi is a skilled warrior with considerable strength.
私の力任せの剣術では、ジンシ様にはまだまだかないません。
その力がすごいんだ。さすがはマーの一族。
Keen-eyed fans will remember a scene in the anime where Jinshi's, skills were on great display. I guess it is to be expected from a prince in hiding. Being able to take on Gao Xun's son Basin in a fair match is quite a feat for someone who does paperwork all day. In one of the last moments of the previous season though, we see another showing of his strength as he effortlessly picks up Maomao, like she was an actual cat.
ジンスと、
I guess she doesn't have much going for her in weight, but considering he had to jump down from a wall, it was quite impressive nonetheless. No surprise, his sculpted body isn't just for show. This clever hottie also has some bronze to back up his brains.
はい。
睡蓮様はこちらを。分かったわ。その上から服を着れば。
Fact number 4. Jinshi is a crybaby.
うわ、ジンシ様、なぜここに？
それは俺の方が聞きたい。
すみません、今どきます。
In contrast to his usual majestic figure, Jinshi is quite an emotional guy. We see this in how he easily empathizes with Maomao, and how the latter is often able to have him dancing in the palm of her hand, even if she doesn't realize it. Naturally, he's also no stranger to shedding tears for those he cares about. This is particularly shown in the anime when Lady Ah Duo departs from the palace, leaving our little crybaby with one less friend inside the wall.
アド様。
Lucky for us though, we get a crazy precious moment alongside his tears as he tightly hugs a cute Maomao for some warmth. God, I wish that were me.
ジンシ様。
もう少しだけだ。 少しだけ温めてくれ。
Fact number 5. A pair of masochists. Now, if you're a fan of the series, you should know by now how much of a masochist Maomao is. Obsessed with poison, she often consumes this stuff herself as she's curious about the effects. Look no further than her arm if you want a not-so-flowery reminder of the lengths she's willing to go for her interests.
治りが悪いな。配合を変えてみよう。
あら、マオマオ。
パイリン姉ちゃん。
ってまた傷増えてるじゃないの。
おう、いつもの薬の実験だよ。うわっ。
Though, for my sake, I hope she lays off the more physical stuff. It's a bit hard to watch. Something you've probably only thought in passing, however, is how much of a masochist Jinshi truly is. One of the main reasons he developed an interest in Maomao is due not only to her indifference to his physical charm, but also her utter disgust at the sight of him. The makings of a historical power couple, if you couldn't tell already.
あんな軽蔑した目で見られたのは初めてだ。
The question is now, though, who's gonna be bringing the pain in the bedroom between these two? Any of these facts surprise you yet? Well, don't worry. We'll only be getting deeper from now on. And trust me, it's my pleasure to be looking even more into one of my favorite pairings in anime. If you love this masochist duo as much as I do, consider easing some of our pain by leaving a super thanks on this video. I'll try not to blush too hard. As always, like and share this video to share the love, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below what you want to see in the next season of Apothecary Diaries. Fact number 6. Mommy troubles.
おはよう。昔は毛嫌いされて追い出されたけど、もうそんな元気もないか。それとも、とうに言葉も忘れたか。病が進んで、記憶もズタズタに引き裂かれてる。
As many fans may know, Maomao isn't short of mommy issues. In fact, it was the latter part of the previous season that shed light on the situation with Maomao's parents. Her father is the high-functioning Lacan, and her mom, a withering flower, in the verdigris house by the name of Fengxian. That whole situation was pretty dark and graphic for my taste, by the way. While Lacan's romance was quite sweet to a degree, it turned tragic pretty fast when he ended up having to leave. Being a bit of a psycho, Fengxian even went so far as to cut her pinky off. What a waste. Because of all that though, Maomao grew up mainly in the care of his adopted daddy, Luomin. And of course, this led to her interest in the art of apothecary. So we can thank the old-timer for giving us the Maomao we have now. If the dual masochism didn't sell you on the Jinshi Maomao ship already though, familial troubles are also something they have in common. Like Maomao, Jinshi wasn't really able to live with the warmth of his biological mother.
だが、アードー妃の出産は皇太后の出産と重なったためにないがしろにされ、結果、アードー妃は子宮を失い、今の皇帝の初めての巫女も間もなく亡くなった。
At least knowingly. It's a whole confusing situation, so don't feel too bad if you missed it too from the anime. Basically, Jinshi's birth was quite hectic, with his mom barely getting medical support during the process. Because of this, it was decided to switch Jinshi with another baby being born on the same day, the Emperor's son. Considering Jinshi is alive and well, it can be said all went according to plan. Well, besides the Emperor's real baby dying from honey, but that's a separate thing. But because of all that, Jinshi grew up as the brother of the current emperor, which, is his dad. Also, the consort odd duo he's friends with is actually his mother. That family tree really got messed up. Things could be worse, I guess. At least his mom doesn't have an STD.
その時、青年のような凛々しい妃の顔が母親の顔に見えた。
Fact number 7. Not much childhood.
もう少し頭をひねればよいもの。多くの官僚は自分の利益につながる法案を通そうとする。 そんなくだらない法案のために仕事が増えるのは哀れに思う。
Growing up as an emperor's son, you can already imagine how Jinshi didn't have much to do with his time. Often he'd just play with toys, but even then, they would be taken away because of how much he'd be obsessed with just one. Of course, that's a personality trait we're all too familiar with. We can only hope no one takes away his current toy in Maomao. All this, though, understandably feeds to other desires welling up inside him, including our next fact. Fact number 8. Fly free like a bird.
好きでもない場所に引き止められたと気づいたとき、どのように受け取られよう。二人の間の亀裂がこれ以上開くのがとても恐ろしい。
Possibly because of his inability to live a free life as a child and also having to do so much work as an adult, Jinshi has no desire to be a part of royal affairs. The whole reason he ended up a eunuch is actually due to a wager he had with his secret daddy, the current emperor. The latter wanted him to take his place as emperor when the time came.
分かっている。所詮帝の手の上であがく子供に過ぎない。御心のままに高級管理でも何だってやってやる。それが自分の道を選ぶ唯一の方法だ。
While Jinshi proposed he work in the inner palace as a eunuch if he were to win their game. Since our boy is wicked smart, winning wasn't much of an issue, and thus we ended up where we are now. On the other side of things, Maomao also has no desire to be too embroiled in palace affairs, even though she's managed to dip her fingers in pretty much every major scandal and issue since she's gotten there. Just the price of a kind heart, I suppose. Or maybe greed. Who knows? All our little cat really wants is to experiment with medicine and poison. Learning all there is to know about the apothecary craft. Because of this aversion though, we have plenty of funny moments of her distaste towards Jinshi, as he constantly brings work to her table. Speaking of, these two have quite a head on their shoulders.
ダメじゃないか。君は居残りだよね。黙ってついてこい。
Fact number 9. A pair of nerds.
今晩あたり訪問が
If you haven't been able to tell already, Jinshi has quite a mind for politics and management. Meanwhile, Maomao is an encyclopedia of medical knowledge. Besides that, we have Maomao basically being an Asian Sherlock Holmes to thank for this series being what it is. With Jinshi having a hand in many political goings around the palace, he's able to involve Maomao and her detective brain to give us all sorts of curious cases.
毒味薬。薬や。お前の仕事だ。
毒味
But with silver linings come darker cloud. In reality, the heightened intelligence from these two definitely played a part in their inability to live a life of blissful freedom. The brilliant mind of Jinshi made him an asset to the palace, and Maomao's ever-curious mind causes her even now to fall deeper into other affairs. Having each grown up in difficult environments though, that same intelligence also helped them survive through the years. Speaking of...
どうぞ食べないうちに食べましょう
Fact number 10. Purity still.
今日はまた一段と子供みたいな顔をする
Despite our two leads looking good enough for a magazine cover, both are gladly still untouched when it comes to sexual affairs. Now, not that Maomao has much more of a pure mind. While we do know Maomao's freckles are there to protect herself from being found too pretty, Jinshi doesn't have such luxury. In fact, in the light novel, his chastity was very close to being tainted when he was a child, as terrifying as that sounds. I guess the life of a pretty boy isn't as great as it sounds. Nevertheless, never say never. While Maomao may not be ready to admit it anytime soon, these two have enough chemistry to feed millions of anime fans around the world. We can only watch with sparkly eyes to see if season 2 brings us any closer to the day their chastity is finally lost. In a good way, of course. And that's all we have for this palace duo. Excited to meet them again this upcoming anime season? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll be sure to see you there, anxiously waiting alongside you. you. And as always, subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and like and share this video if you want others to come across Jinshi and Maomao too.